right, back to some of our legal cases here. John Edwards is being forced to talk about his relationship with Rielle Hunter again. But why? Our legal guys are back. Avery Freeman in Cleveland, Richard Herman in Las Vegas. Richard, did we not hear enough already? Why do we have to hear him be deposed once again?
It's good. Well, you know, Fred, during his first deposition, we always talk about two different forms of justice, for the privileged and for the not privileged. So he goes to his first deposition, John Edwards, and he refuses to answer like 3/4 of the questions they ask him. So now objections are made to the court. So the judge says, I'm going to sit and listen. You ask him questions, and I'll make rulings on each one you object to right there. That doesn't happen in real life, Fred. Trust me, it doesn't happen like that.
Well, sometimes it does. Sometimes it does.
Yeah, but the judge has released certain documents to the press. He's waiting until after this Edwards deposition. I think he's going to release everything. It should be out there, except Edwards is stupid because he's under criminal investigation and he's waiving his Fifth Amendment rights here. I can't believe he's giving depositions.
No, he's
it's
not.
Unbelievable.
Wait a minute, so can you refuse, Avery? You can refuse to give a deposition?
Of course he can refuse.
Plead the Fifth
Yeah,
Amendment.
look, here's the deal. This is a civil matter, That's
okay.
When the judge hold on. After the deposition starts in this civil matter, because there's a federal grand jury and some of the things that he's being asked will be incriminating, he's clearly going to be interposing his constitutional rights. He's clearly not going to answer certain questions. So the bottom line on whether or not Ms. Rielle Hunter was actually his photographer for purposes of federal campaign funds will probably not be answered. I mean, she took pictures all right, but not for purposes of a federal campaign fund. And we're not going to see any of that evidence.
Yeah. And also at issue is this infamous videotape, the one that the friend Andy Young found in the house that he was staying in, but then Rielle Hunter says, that's my tape. So now at issue as well as who has ownership of this tape, where's that going?
Well,
does it continue to go nowhere?
Quickly, if you put something in the garbage, Frederica, do you consider that gone, or do you believe you have a right of privacy? That's the question. That's the issue here. And I think ultimately Andy Young he's fishing around in the garbage, but he may very well prevail in keeping that tape. Good shot.
Interesting. Okay, well let's move on to Chris Bosh and Miami Heat. Talk about shots. Is this a good shot? He is filing suit against the mother of his child for appearing on this reality TV show called Basketball Wives. But newsflash, she's not his wife, and he says this invades on his private life, and so he says, Allison Mathis, cut it out already. So, oh my goodness, how do you enforce this one? Where does a lawsuit like this go, Richard?
It goes in the garbage can where it belongs because this guy made a decision.
Because she has the freedom to be employed wherever, right?
Look, he made a free choice to be with this woman. They had a child together. She is recounting her experiences and her events with this guy. You know, the best thing for her is that he's bringing this lawsuit. This brings her name up in the lights, gives her more publicity. He obviously has no value for money. He's wasting money on legal fees. It's ridiculous.
Oh, but then Avery, doesn't he make a pretty good argument that, you know, your private information should remain so even if you are a public figure? No? Okay,
well, yeah, but I mean, no, wait a minute. Avery? I understand the argument. I mean, what are they going to do? Rename the show NBA Impregnatees? I mean, look, the fact is NBA wives indeed are going to be public. A lot of these people are not married. And the fact is, on one respect, I do agree with Richard because, look, this is free choice. And you know what the other interesting thing is, which not even in the lawsuit, is what are the rights of the baby? I mean, he's the product of Chris and Allison. What about those rights in terms of the income derived from the show? Ultimately will have to be resolved by a probate court. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, you know, we can't have a weekend and talk about legal cases without talking about Lindsay Lohan. Does it not appear that it's like every week? I mean, come on already.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, right. She's already on the agenda.
Oh, boy. All right. So this time we're talking about, you know, 4 months in jail, you know, 480 hours of community service. And now, too, L.A. is saying, or at least the prosecution is saying, wait a minute, no, her charge should not be reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor. Why not? Avery?
because the LA prosecutor's office is saying that the judge abused her discretion, and a 3-judge panel may very well reverse her, because the truth is the record showed that it did meet the elements of a felony. It should have stayed there. But in the meantime, it may all be mooted out because it's back there. She's entered her plea. She's going to do, she will spend very little time, if any, and she'll do a community service. Let's see what the Court of Appeals does in reinstating the case. That remains to be seen.
So, Richard, I mean, this stuff has our heads spinning, because, good Lord, I mean, in jail, out of jail, what? How many times does this go on?
It's 2 forms of justice. It's just celebrity justice. 3 convictions for DWI or driving while impaired. 1 million types of probation. Probation violations each time. There's a report now that before she stood up before the judge in February on the stolen necklace case, she had alcohol in her system the day before by probation. It's unbelievable. They ought to put her in prison, but she's not. Alan Duke covering it for CNN, he says 1 month house arrest, that's it. And I agree with him. She's only going to get house arrest. These judges are afraid of her, and somehow this Gotti movie she's getting into, she's become Teflon all of a sudden.
Dial it down. Dial it down. Hold on. I mean, the bottom line is that's right. But again, the case isn't over. Let's see what happens. You know she's going to screw up. She'll continue to be followed on Legal Brief's agenda. She will stay with us.
She'll violate
this point.
She'll violate probation. Right, she'll violate probation again, and nothing will happen.
Yeah,
except that we'll be talking about it again.
Keep hard. We'll keep talking about it. Right.
And Fred, you'll be tweeting about it at F Whitfield.
I know. Isn't it scary?
Okay. No, she won't. No, she won't.
But I'll be reading your tweets. How's that? All right. Okay. Richard, Avery, thanks so much. Always good to see you. Appreciate it.
See you soon, Fred.
Great weekend.
Bye-bye. Okay, Major League Baseball's a big civil rights and baseball celebration taking place right now.